Next is from Bobby D, and the subject is this is interesting. So, Joe, what did you think about when you read this subject?
I was very interested to hear what you guys thought, and I was already formulating my response. So,
Okay, the subject, Conan, is Feeney may not be a complete J-bro. I know Conan says Joe isn't funny at all in K100, but here he is on the Raven Effect. As a longtime listener of both shows, I can attest that Joe is a bit comical with one-liners here and there. On K100, Conan and Disco are the hosts, and Joe is more of a third. On the Raven Effect, Joe is definitely a co-host. Do you think that it's possible that on K100, Joe simply knows his role and shuts his mouth, where on Raven Show, he chimes in just as much as Raven and Rich, where he has a chance to be funny? I'd like to hear my favorite duo's take. Keep up the good work, and that's from Bobby Don't Give Up from Joliet, Illinois. What do you think, Conan? What do you think about this?
What's the question?
Does Joe know his role and shut his mouth on our show,
Well, he has no
basically?
choice, bro. Nobody's gonna out talk you or me, so he has no choice. He can get in where he fits in and get in
yeah.
his little deals. Most of them aren't that funny, but
Yeah, well,
you
let's be
know,
honest. Let me
he
be
shoots
honest.
his shot.
It has to be. 20 years ago or 25 years ago, if Joe would have thought that he, like sitting in the arena at ECW, that 25 years later, he would be co-hosting a podcast with Raven. Joe, what would you have thought that would you have thought that that would have been possible that you would be doing business with Raven later in your life?
No, I don't. I don't think any of the stuff that I do would be a possibility because for a long time I wasn't the kind of fan who would go over the guardrail or you know what I'm saying. Like I always would go to the show, leave. I wasn't the guy that hung out afterwards or tried to meet anybody. So
Right.
I didn't do anything like that till I went to the Monster Factory.
But do you think basically that the reason Raven likes you is because Raven at heart is still an ECW mark, and he likes to do a show with another ECW mark, and that
Yeah,
is
and
yeah.
I think his ludicrous type of sense of humor we mesh well with that. So and plus you guys have like you said 20 25 years of a established relationship and I'm just the new guy still. With Raven and Rich we were all just meeting each other kind of, so it's just
Right,
different. It's just
right.
different. And Conan's exactly right. It's your show, both of you, and that's people want to hear you guys, and if you need information I'll chime in and make stupid jokes here and there to get buried, and
And Joe,
that's
you
what it
you
is.
and me and Conan will say you have free reign to interject any news or information you want to at any time, and we'll discuss it. All right.
Okay.
All right. That's from and next is from Big Rig, and the subject is gym pants. This is my last one. I gotta go somewhere. So,
Yeah.
hey guys, I love two things: wrestling and wearing big baddie. Oh my god, if this guy loves to. Okay, hey guys, I love two things: wrestling and wearing big baggy wacky 80s style pants when I go to the gym. My new addiction is making said baggy pants that mimic wrestlers' gear. My question is, do I have Mr. Inferno's blessing to make some big orange pants with shake your booty on the back, or will I risk getting sued? Thanks as always. Dude, you can do whatever you want. I
Yeah.
mean, if you put big orange pants with shake your booty on the back, there's a good chance that the Conan, do you think that the woman would be attracted to him just by that alone?
Yes,
Yeah. All right.
yeah,
So if you want women, um, or people that
because he's gonna
identify as
think this guy has a sense of humor. Yeah,
if you want women or people that identify as women, okay, wear shake your booty on your wear big pants that say shake your booty, and the girls will be all over you. Right.
Right. Of course.
Let me do one more then. Next is from some Gondo Chanko. How many times has he been suspended? Who's been suspended more than anybody in the mailbag? Joe, who'd you think?
Man. I don't know. It's
Didn't,
it's
that,
Anthony
didn't we have a
Hunt.
guy? Right.
Anthony Hunt gets it. Yeah, I'm not sure really.
I'm
It's
thinking some Gondo Chanko's
Jared.
been.
Jared has Chonko's been. Um, some of those silly fall vampires been. Some of those silly name guys have been. Yeah,
All right. So next, so some Gondo Shanto is,
like Holder,
yeah,
like Durbin.
yeah, he's holders. Next is from who is the subject is who is the real draw. Hey K100 girl, I'll take the hit this week. I know it's 2 emails, but it's a valid point that I felt needed to be made. As you may or may not be aware, Seth Rollins, but you're suspended by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Seth Rollins defended his belt against Bron Breakker in NXT. The show averaged 773K, which is the highest in 3 years, and the main event drew 950,000, which is higher than most Dynamite main events in the past year. A lot of the credit obviously goes to Seth, but I think Bron Breakker deserves a lot of credit too, because it shows that people want to see that matchup and believe he was a credible challenger. However, the real question is, does this prove that Seth Rollins is a draw for the WWE, and is this also an indictment on the star-powered AEW television? Roman and the Bloodline have had 3 million and 2.8 million for the last two segments. Now this for NXT by Seth and Braun. Seems like the WWE is doing a much better job building stars currently. Yes, they are, because they are doing episodic storytelling that we talk about every week. And the Bloodline angles draw when the storyline reaches inflection points where it's a big moment and you want to see what happens. And that's how you do this. And it's like so simple that you would think that AEW sees these formulas and starts building their TV like that. So and I don't know. Yeah, they are huge stars. Seth is, we were down on Seth Rollins for a very long time on the show, and then all of a sudden we noticed he started dressing outlandishly and acting like the Joker, and he became a compelling character, and he was doing more interesting television. And it's just, bro, we're a good gauge of the highs and lows of professional wrestling. Like, we can see where positives are trending, and we can see where negatives are trending. And we talk about it every week, and we usually get, when we see the negative trends popping up, people look at us like we're haters. Like, no, dude, I'm telling you, especially when you watch these shows every week, Conan. We have to watch the shows, right, to comment on them. And you can just, like, to me, it's kind of clear when we see where the trends are going, and like we kind of agree on them most of the time. Like, we'll very rarely disagree, because, and like I mean, how often are we
the
right?
thing is that most fans, just like you said, if I wouldn't have listened to Dutch and Jeff, I wouldn't have even thought of that, right? A lot of fans don't even know what they're looking for. They don't even know where the real, gaps are. Some are very evident. I mean, it's just Wrestling 101. Come on.
Right.
Because you see them writing it on Twitter, and you're like, he's got a point. But there's a lot of stuff. We have a more clinical eye because of all the years we were in the business and behind the scenes and stuff that there's no way fans can know, even if they think they know everything from reading it on the sheets. There's just a lot of stuff you still don't know. You just got to be in the business.
I don't think the fans realize, from a production, like, because we've been like, we know how a show should be produced and how it's segmented. Like you've started using techniques the way WWE shoots run-ins. You started mimicking that on your show because it's better television. It's a better moment on the TV, right? So there'll be things like when we watch AEW. This to me is like the perfect example. Is there was a spot in the back where a guy tasered another wrestler, like he tasered him. And the wrestler boom sold. And instead of selling it, you go to the announcers and they're going, "Oh my God!" They just went right. They cut and went right to the.
They went to another segment like nothing happened. And did put her over, yeah.
So like you had an element of storytelling, like a guy just tasered a guy, and that would probably be a big moment, and you treated it like it was just another second on the show. You know what I'm saying? So like we see things like that, and it's like, dude, they may think they're telling good stories, but you're not telling the story. You're just showing. It's like reading a book, and like if you're reading a book and you just randomly what do you call redactions? It's like half the pages are redacted. It's like like that's bro. The WWE is storytelling like with full pages. Like they tell a complete story, and like AEW tells stories with redactions, and you can see it affects their
and half of problem is they're a victim of their own, just of having so many wrestlers that they're trying to get so many people on that everything's rushed, including when Excalibur goes over the matches.
Right. Exactly.
In the last 2 or 3 weeks, the finish has felt rushed because probably another segment went too long or they had too many on there.
Yeah.